Alright, so today I want to talk about rhyme schemes, and I want to start thinking of multis kind of like they're one rhyme. So basically, if I were to, put like lockdown and hot now, this, just start thinking of this as if it's just one rhyme, the same as you would, have like hat and cat. It's just one rhyme. So it doesn't matter if the multi is 3, 4, 5 syllables, we're just going to think of it as if it were just one syllable. So if you remember from the flow tutorial, every single bar has a beat of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So we'll just write down 1, 2, 3, and 4, something like that. And remember that the snare always hits when you get to the 2 and when you get to the 4. So here's a very basic example of a type of rhyme. We're just going to look at this stanza right here. I'm pulling out my pad and I'm ready to drop. My man's up on the phone trying to get me to pop. So if we look here, we have the rhyme ready to drop and get me to pop. And again, we're thinking of it as if it's one syllable, the same way that we would look at if it were only drop and pop. But we're just looking at this whole phrase of it as if it's one rhyme. The next line is, the ice is on my wrist like I'm tending a sprain. I'll tell you to pull the plug, put an end to the game. So again, tending a sprain, end to the game, that is one rhyme. So here we have a rhyme, and we're just going to call that the set of A, right? And this is also going to be part of the set of A, because as long as it rhymes with ready to drop, get me to pop, it's part of A. So this is what we would call an A rhyme scheme. But here, this is a different rhyme, tending a sprain, end to the game. So this is going to be a B rhyme scheme. But the important part to notice is that there's no other rhymes anywhere in these lines. And it's important to have a distinction between a coincidence. Sometimes words, sound alike. Like, for example, here I have Trina and like I'm almost kind of rhyme, but that wasn't really my intent as a writer. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of those. And we're only going to consider these rhymes right here at the end. And because we're only rhyming at the end here where we hit the 4, this is about the most basic rhyme scheme that you can have, A, B, B. Again, remembering that one line is equal to one bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm pulling out my pad and I'm ready to drop. My man's up on the phone trying to get me to pop. The ice is on my wrist like I'm tending a sprain. I'll tell you to pull the plug, put an end to the game. So we only had the rhyming here at the end. Now we're going to look at the second little group here, and this is basically going to be an AA rhyme, because we're still using the exact same rhyme. Remember, we define A as being anything that rhymes really with ready to drop. So here we're going with, I'm back penning a drop, whether you're ready or not. My bars trend to the top. They're trying to get me to pop. So here we have an internal rhyme, where inside of the line there's actually two different rhymes, even though it's the same rhyme. And because of that, we would call this an AA rhyme scheme. Because in this line, we have an A, and then here we have an A and an A. The final stanza I want to look at is right here, where we have, I'll hop on the track quick, are you ready or not? Make you pop, do a backflip, boy, I'm never gonna stop. So here we have, hop on the track quick, and pop, do a backflip. And then at the end, we still have our rhymes where it says, ready or not, never gonna stop. So we'll go ahead and continue to call this A. It doesn't really matter if what you call it, but we'll call this A. So in this case, you might call it a BA rhyme scheme and another BA rhyme scheme. So hopefully that doesn't confuse you. The main idea is that we have an internal rhyme here. I'll hop on the track quick. Are you ready or not? Make you pop, do a backflip. Boy, I'm never gonna stop. Now, arguably, you can even think of this as like a really long multi, because technically, if we looked at these two that don't rhyme, but we thought of them as like indefinite rhymes, we could call them, we could call this one big multi. I'll hop on the track quick. Are you ready or not? Make you pop, do a backflip. Boy, I'm never gonna stop. So it gets kind of confusing when you think about it like that. I think it's just easier to think that, as a writer, my intention was to have this internal rhyme right here, and that was a different rhyme than this internal rhyme right here. If we were to do a version of that without any type of multis, it could be something like, I went to the store and I found me a cap. I dropped to the floor and I took a good nap. And in this case, obviously, store and floor rhyme, then you have cap and nap that rhyme. So this N rhyme could be considered B, and then this rhyme right here could be considered A. And then you can consider this an A B rhyme scheme. But because we know what multis are, we could put in a 2-syllable, 3-syllable multi here. We could put in a 4-syllable, 5-syllable, 2-syllable. Doesn't matter how many syllable multi here. So the main thing I want to do in this video is kind of look at and listen to some rhyme schemes. Now, for the most part, those rhyme schemes are very simple, and I don't want you to think of simple rhyme schemes as a bad thing necessarily. I think when you get into writing punchlines, it might be better to have more simplified rhyme schemes. And we'll talk about punchlines in an upcoming video. So for now, I think we should listen to some rhyme schemes and get an idea how they're actually implemented. This is a really basic one. We're going to start off, pretty basic and then get more complicated. And again, like I said, don't think of basic as a bad thing. This is a verse that the rapper Serious Jones did over the Ether beat, and it's a pretty simple rhyme scheme at the beginning. So here you'll see, if you don't know me by now, in the end you will see. So we have end you will see, send you to me, continue to be, menu to me. Listen up close. Let me actually change the color there. That is a different rhyme. So we have listen up close, gripping up throats. I get the utmost. So this is actually here, and then we'll have, I think he said toast. I'm not 100% sure. For the record, toast is a slang word for gun. So when he talks about arms I can't wear, he's also talking about a gun. This is a punchline. Here we have big enough coats. This is a rhyme, and then he goes into a new rhyme here. And then really it's just the same word, but it's a word play here. So what we see here is a pretty basic A rhyme scheme. Then here we go B, and then B, and then here he actually has a B. And then here goes into B again, and then again this is a B, but then it transitions into a C. And then this will just be a C. So it's a pretty straightforward rhyme scheme. And I'll let you go ahead and hear how that sounds.
Live in person.
Yep, we ready.
Let's go. If you don't know me by now, in the end you will see. Niggas wanna see you get ate, they send you to me. I've been real, so that's what I'ma continue to be. And this rap billboard should look like a menu to me. Look, I want you to understand me, so listen up close. I'm a cool nigga, but when I rap, I'm gripping up throats. I get the utmost, so we can get to picking up toast. I got arms I can't wear, cause they don't make big enough coats. Y'all niggas is jokes, y'all can't be serious. I know you just mad cause you can't be serious now. Let's be.
So again, that was a pretty basic rhyme scheme. We'll go ahead and go into something a little bit more complex now. Here we have Zine, rhyme, prime time, fine line, and then we have the actual daylight, stay tight, playwright. Here we have Neek scene, street teams, keep green, and then he transitions Starman, R-Man, and then here we have sign of the times, finally mine, designing my rhyme, final I'm fine. Then down here we have dope is me, hopelessly, but then there's like a little internal rhyme here where he goes rip the flow, sink the show. So this is kind of an A, B, A, B, and then here we have A again, and then B, and then he goes into a C, C, and then we have a C, D, because we have the internal rhyme here, and then we have the D with the new rhyme here, and then it goes to a very simplified rhyme scheme here, E, 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 E. You can argue and say that 9 is part of the whole sign of the times rhyme. I'm just going to consider that as a coincidence, but rarely are these things really coincidences. It definitely helps to have just a little bit of an internal rhyme going on in there. But then down here we have our F, and then we have rip the flow, which is G, sink the show, G. That is definitely intentional. And then this is going to be F again because, F, F. So this will be G, G, F. And again, we'll go ahead and play this and let you hear what it sounds like.
When I design rhyme in daylight or prime time, I stay tight. I walk the fine line between the MC and the playwright. I represent the underground world, it's a unique scene. There's no record deals, no videos or street teams. I do shows to keep green. I know I'm not a star, man, I'm signed to myself. And my mic's my A&R, man. And 99, I guess it's just a sign of the times. The spotlight that I've been looking for is finally mine. I never thought about the dough when I'm designing my rhyme. Long as I can reach my peoples over vinyl, I'm fine, it ain't about that. I opened up for cats who ain't as dope as me. While I rip the flow, they lip sync the show hopelessly. From heaven, I was sent the game to.
All right, so here's a new example from Elzhi. Don't compare me to jokes. I'll strangle the air in your throat like you jump from a chair and choke. What's interesting is he dropped a syllable right here, but everything else here is 4 syllables. So air from a rope, carry a scope, flare up the smoke, Aryan spoke. Then he goes to a new rhyme, outlandish, dandruff, handprints, but then he has the internals face out, shake out. Interestingly enough, he has jakes, which is kind of an extension of face out, shake out, make out. He just doesn't have the out part. But this is definitely an internal rhyme. And then here he goes real as it gets, still in the clips. And then this is another example of an internal rhyme, buck and duck. And in this case, it's 1 syllable, which goes to show you it doesn't always have to be a multi.
Ain't nowhere to run and it ain't no hide.
Don't compare me to jokes. I strangle the air in your throat like you jump from a chair and choke in midair from a rope. Got a big gun and carry a scope, the flare in the smoke. Keep niggas quiet like words librarian spoke. I'm arrogant, outlandish. Blow your face out and shake out the dandruff. The jakes won't make out the handprints. I'm as real as it gets when it's still in the clip. Bark and make niggas duck and kneel into splits. It gets no realer than this. It's taking ill.
All right, so I got a couple more examples from Elzhi. He has some interesting rhyme schemes. Here you'll see that he rhymes W, puzzles you, fumble you as internal rhymes, but then he has big, raw, jigsaw. This one is just kind of an AA rhyme scheme. And I'll let you go ahead and look at the lines yourself and figure out where all the rest of the rhymes are. One thing I did want to point out is remember that when we have a rhythm of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, we have a snare that's around 2 and then a snare that's around the 4. And so here, what you see is he rhymes weight up, and then he doesn't have any rhymes going on at all until he comes back and then rhymes again here on the 4 for the second bar. And that is definitely an acceptable thing to do, but I really think that when you're starting out, you should stick to the basics and really get good at that before trying to move on to things that are more complex like this. I'll go ahead and play it and let you hear what it sounds like.
Straight up and down, I'm the best to do it.
The best kept secret, I guess that I
Yo,
just
the game is mine. I rewrote the famous line off of Spittin' Flames design, the same as Spines. Truthfully, I'm R-A-W, a bit raw. It puzzles you like when you fumble through a jigsaw. I own toys that fold your homeboy. This for my young niggas holding chrome on joy. 12th and Lawrence, Glenn, Dexter, and Conan that show depth to opponents for no less than a donut. Get your weight up and quit mean mugging niggas like you with your sister and she just fit an A cup. I would've smashed you before my mustache grew. It's like you crashed where you passed through to get your gas fuel. The ladies say I got away with words, but they don't know the half. I write a blind man a photograph, subliminal. Any imbecile in general can suck the identical genitals from the general. Straight up and down.
All right, this is another rhyme from Elzhi, and we're getting more and more complex, so I have to tell you, if you are starting out, I really advise that you don't try to get too out of the box. The first examples of lyrics I posted where you just have AA, BB, AB, that is definitely where you want to start out. You don't want to start out trying to do stuff like this until you actually master being able to do the basics. It's like wanting to go out there and play basketball, but you still don't know how to run. You have to develop, the basic tools to go out there and do that. So what I wanted to point out here, though, is that he has this rhyme, bang, bang. And then he kind of goes on a tangent where he does this other rhyme over and over and over and over. And at that point, once you get all the way through these lines, you kind of think that, oh, that's what he's going to do next. It's kind of like a bait and switch where he goes back to the original rhyme, where he goes back to this rhyme right here. So we're going to go ahead and listen to this, and I want you to pay attention, again, to the flow, to the rhyme scheme, basically everything that we've been talking about.
I blow a blunt of Blue Widow, listening to instrumentals in the 5-star suite with paid for incidentals. Hopping out of cars that you're convinced is rentals. I'm what's happening for a reason, there is no coincidentals. I'm honestly the best. Anyone in your dynasty can test and get you like how piranhas eat the flesh. Pretend that I ain't in fact coming off like a thin hat with strong wind at. Soon as I lay the pen flat, it's certified murder. I decide further your fate with nickel plate side burners. Bang bang to all my foes, leaving froze off with droves. My flows keep niggas on their toes like orangutans and road runners. I erase them like old numbers in the celly. I push Pirellis on gold Hummers, get bread and dip from the scene like it was cold Hummers. The devil trying to take our soul that we hold from us. It's a gamble, but still I chose the road.
All right, the last one I want to look at is Royce da 5'9". Again, I'm going to leave this to you to look at all the different rhymes that we have because there are a ton of internal rhymes going on. They're not exactly structured in a way that you can say, oh, this is AABB. You know, we're getting more and more complex as we go. And one of the things that I think is really cool about the way that Royce is rapping right now, he will occasionally just kind of go offbeat. He kind of transforms his whole style where he's like rapping, and then he'll just like, okay, I'm going to stop rapping and I'm going to talk to you as a person right now, and then he'll just jump right back into rapping. And that's something that I think is a really advanced technique that I don't think a lot of people can pull off, and if you're just starting out, do not try that. But it's something that I personally think Royce, manages to pull off, and you can even look at how he delivers this line in particular, the one that I have highlighted, and I want you to pay attention to that in particular when you actually listen to this. The way that he delivers it is exactly the same here as he delivers it here, meaning it has the same incantations. He's like, I will kill the flow, and here he goes, still steal the show. But hopefully you'll hear what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and play it.
I can lose, but I've been had to move. I decided on pre-order. My little homie just went gold. A Hakalugi on the reporter. Detroit is on Pete Rose. That's arms throwing on steroids. Gated up, no wing toes. My phone blowing up so much, a nigga may end up like CeeLo. I bounce back like the fattest ass she can have attached to the fattest hips. And anything after this shall be considered cataclysmic. Counting packs like a statistician. Emphatic charisma, savage enigma. I have a religion to handle your rhythm like cannibalism. The camera rolling and it's time to flow. I don't know, I just go carnival. I'm from Otanya, I can just line up the hollow tips inside the clip and I can just go down the row and knock them down like some dominoes. After you already out, then I'm dropping some more and you like you Tupac and the commandos. Watching my comments like paparazzi watching Sacha Obama grow. I got Elijah Muhammad glow. I got the dough, these rappers claim they got it, the house in my drawer in the envelope. My focus phenomenal, my temperature so hot and cold, I broke the thermometer. Guarantee I will kill the flow. This remind me of Lala Anthony ass in that new edition movie. Niggas try to cover it up and make it look old. Guarantee I'ma still steal the show. I've been had the moves. I remember these bitches was just a dream. Actors and models I used to only see on television. Check out the move. Now they be climbing up out of my television looking at me to get the ring. I remember all I used to be around is dudes that used to just try to kill by me. Try to conceal bodies. Used to clean the bloody mess up in front of me. I had a holla attitude. Had to still deal with that field sobriety. Had to do a double take at the dirty mop when he was finished. Look like Lil Yachty. Nigga, I went to jail for the whole year. I got out and I did the same thing you whack ass.
Something I want to point out is that in the past, Royce did have really complex rhyme schemes, but I don't think they were nearly as complex. And especially in terms of his flow, I don't think he ever did anything like that where he would, stop rapping altogether and just kind of go on a tangent. So this is something that he definitely evolved over time. He didn't just start out rapping like that. He learned all the basics and all the mechanics of learning how to write before trying stuff like this. So I'm telling you again, this is an end goal, but this is not where you want to start out. It's important to have those training wheels and really, stick with the fundamentals. But I did want you to know that things can get a lot more complex. What is important to note is that even when you have really, really complex rhyme schemes like this and you're kind of breaking character and then you stop rapping and then you're kind of just talking, there's still some level of rhythm to it. There are still kind of rules that he's abiding by. And if you listen to the way that he delivers his lines, you can really tell, he's doing things very methodically. So it almost sounds like there's a chaotic mess going on, but if you really have been doing this for a long time and you listen to this, you can tell that there is really a method behind that madness. And that's not always the case. There are definitely rappers out there that, just have awful flow. So if you're not really trained to know what to listen for, you might not be able to tell the difference between something that's really chaotic but also really good versus something that's just chaotic and bad. But anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about as far as rhyme schemes. Hopefully you learned something. Thank you for tuning in.